Sometimes in life, no matter how kind you are, no matter how much you give, no matter how much effort you put into being a good person, it still won't be enough for some people. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, especially if you are someone who believes in kindness, respect, and treating others with sincerity. From a young age, many of us are taught that if we are nice to others, they will be nice to us. We are taught that kindness will always be returned, that respect will be mutual, and that good intentions will lead to good outcomes. But as life goes on, reality begins to show a different picture. You start to realize that not everyone thinks the same way you do. Not everyone values kindness the same way. Not everyone respects effort. Not everyone appreciates sincerity. And that realization can be painful. You may find yourself in situations where you gave your best to someone, supported them, helped them, stood by them in difficult times, and still they treated you unfairly. They ignored your effort, took your kindness for granted, or even used it against you. In those moments, it's easy to start questioning yourself. Was I too nice? Did I do something wrong? Why wasn't I enough? But the truth is, your kindness was never the problem. The real issue is that you were giving your energy to people who didn't have the capacity to value it. Not everyone you meet will understand your heart. Some people only take. Some people only think about themselves. Some people will accept everything you give without ever thinking about what they are giving in return. And if you are not careful, you can lose yourself trying to be everything for people who would never do the same for you. That is why one of the most important lessons in life is learning that being nice does not mean being available for everyone all the time without limits. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Being a good person does not mean allowing others to disrespect you. It does not mean tolerating behavior that hurts you. And it does not mean constantly sacrificing your own well-being for people who would not do the same for you. There is a difference between being kind and being taken advantage of. And many people learn that difference the hard way. You can be the most genuine person in the room and still be misunderstood. You can have the purest intentions and still be judged. You can give your best and still not be appreciated. That is because people see you through their own mindset, not through your intentions. If someone lacks empathy, they won't recognize your kindness. If someone is selfish, they will only focus on what they can gain from you. If someone is insecure, they may even see your kindness as weakness. And that is why trying to please everyone is a losing game. No matter how much you adjust yourself, someone will always find a reason to criticize you, misunderstand you, or undervalue you. The moment you accept this truth, something begins to change inside you. You stop trying so hard to be liked by everyone. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth. Instead, you begin to focus on something more important, being true to yourself. Being kind is still a strength. It is not something you should lose. But it must be balanced with self-respect. Because if you are always putting others first while ignoring your own needs, eventually you will feel drained, unappreciated, and emotionally exhausted. And no one deserves to feel that way. Real strength is not just about how much you can give. It is also about knowing when to step back, knowing when to say no, knowing when to walk away, knowing when someone no longer deserves the same level of access to your time and energy. These decisions are not signs of weakness. They are signs of growth. Because sometimes, no matter how nice you are, it will never be enough for the wrong people. And that is okay. As life moves forward and your experiences begin to shape your understanding of people, you start to notice a pattern that is difficult to ignore. You realize that kindness alone is not enough to guarantee respect, appreciation, or loyalty. This realization can feel heavy, especially if you have always believed that being a good person would naturally lead to positive treatment from others. At first, you may try even harder. You become more patient, more understanding, more forgiving. You give people second chances, sometimes even third chances, hoping that eventually they will recognize your intentions and treat you better. But often the opposite happens. The more you give without limits, the more some people begin to expect it. Your kindness becomes something they assume will always be there. Your effort becomes something they stop noticing. And over time, what once felt like generosity begins to feel like obligation. This is where many people start to feel emotionally drained. You may begin to feel like no matter how much you do, it is never enough. You start questioning why your effort is not being returned, why your kindness is not being appreciated, and why the people you care about do not treat you with the same level of respect. But the answer is not always found in what you are doing wrong. Sometimes the answer is simply that you are giving your best to people who are not capable of valuing it. Not everyone has the emotional awareness to recognize genuine effort. Some people are so focused on their own needs that they fail to see what others sacrificing for them. Others may have become so used to receiving kindness that they no longer see it as something special. And this is where an important shift needs to happen. You must begin to understand that your kindness should not come at the cost of your self-respect. Being nice does not mean ignoring how someone treats you. It does not mean staying silent when you feel disrespected. And it does not mean continuing to invest in relationships that leave you feeling unappreciated. There comes a point where you have to ask yourself a difficult question. Are you being kind, or are you being taken for granted? This question can be uncomfortable, but is necessary for growth. Because if you do not recognize when your kindness is being misused, you may continue repeating the same pattern with different people. Another important truth is that not everyone deserves the same version of you. Some people deserve your time, your energy, and your loyalty because they value and respect it. They acknowledge your effort. They appreciate your presence. They treat you with the same level of care that you offer them. But others may not, and learning to recognize the difference is one of the most important skills you can develop. It is not about becoming cold or distant. It is about becoming aware. Aware of how people treat you. Aware of how you feel after interacting with them. Aware of whether your effort is being appreciated or simply expected. When you develop this awareness, you begin to make better decisions about where to invest your energy. You stop chasing people who do not value you. You stop overextending yourself for those who only take, and you begin to protect your peace. This does not mean you stop being kind. It means your kindness becomes more intentional. You give it to people who respect it. You share it with people who appreciate it. You offer it to those who understand its value. Another powerful lesson in this journey is learning to let go of the need to be liked by everyone. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will agree with you. Not everyone will see your worth. And that is okay. Trying to please everyone often leads to losing yourself. You may find yourself changing your behavior, adjusting your personality, and lowering your standards just to keep others comfortable. But in doing so, you begin to lose your authenticity. True confidence comes from being comfortable with who you are, even if not everyone approves. It comes from knowing that your value is not determined by how many people like you, but by how true you are to yourself. As you continue growing, you will start to see that the right people do exist. There are individuals who will appreciate your kindness, respect your effort, and value your presence. But you will only find those people when you stop giving unlimited access to those who do not deserve it. Sometimes, being too available to the wrong people blocks the right people from entering your life. That is why boundaries are so important. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are guidelines that show people how to treat you. They protect your energy, they protect your peace, and they protect your self-worth. Because sometimes, no matter how nice you are, it will never be enough for the wrong people. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start building relationships where your kindness is truly valued. As you continue to grow and reflect on your experiences, you begin to understand something that changes the way you see relationships forever. You realize that being nice is not a guarantee that people will treat you well. In fact, sometimes the more kind and understanding you are, the more certain people will test your limits. This is where a deeper level of awareness begins to develop. You start noticing how people respond to your energy. Some people respect your kindness. They value your time, your effort, and your presence. They make you feel appreciated and understood. Being around them feels balanced and peaceful. But then there are others. People who only come to you when they need something. People who disappear when they need support. People who take your kindness as a sign that they can do whatever they want without consequences. And the difficult part is that these people often don't show their true nature immediately. At first, everything may seem normal. They may even appear grateful. But over time, their behavior begins to reveal their true intentions. They stop appreciating your effort. They start expecting it. They stop respecting your boundaries. They begin to take advantage of your patience. This is the moment where many people struggle. Because when you are naturally kind, it is not easy to suddenly change how you treat others. You may continue giving, hoping things will improve. You may keep making excuses for their behavior, telling yourself that they are just going through something or that they will eventually understand your value. But not everyone changes, and this is one of the hardest lessons to accept. Sometimes, no matter how much you care, no matter how much you give, and no matter how patient you are, some people will never treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Not because you are not enough, but because they are not willing to grow. At this stage, you are faced with an important decision. You can continue giving your energy to people who drain you, or you can begin choosing yourself. Choosing yourself does not mean becoming selfish or uncaring. It means recognizing that your well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. It means understanding that you cannot pour endlessly into others while your own energy is running empty. There is a difference between helping someone and losing yourself in the process. When you begin to choose yourself, you start making changes. You stop over-explaining your intentions. You stop chasing people who ignore you. You stop trying to fix relationships that only one person is trying to maintain. Instead, you begin to step back. You observe. You pay attention to how people treat you without constantly trying to correct their behavior. And through that observation, You begin to see things more clearly. You realize who truly values you and who only values what you can give. This clarity is powerful because it allows you to make decisions that protect your peace. Another important realization is that your kindness should never feel like a burden. If being nice constantly leaves you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, or emotionally drained, then something is out of balance. Healthy relationships do not make you feel that way. In the right relationships, your kindness is returned. Your effort is recognized. Your presence is valued. There is mutual respect. There is understanding. There is balance. But in one-sided relationships, you are always the one giving, the one adjusting, the one trying to keep things together. Over time, this becomes unsustainable. You cannot continue pouring into something that gives nothing back. And that is why learning to walk away is such an important part of growth. Walking away is not about giving up on people. It is about refusing to give up on yourself. It is about understanding that your energy is limited and that it should be invested in places where it is respected. Many people stay in situations longer than they should because they hope things will change. They hold on to the idea of what the relationship could be instead of accepting what it actually is. But growth requires honesty. You have to see people for who they are, not for who you hope they will become. And once you see that clearly, your decisions become easier. You stop forcing connections. You stop chasing validation. You stop trying to prove your worth. Because deep down, you begin to understand something important. Your worth was never something that needed to be proven. It was something that needed to be recognized. And if someone cannot recognize it, that is not your responsibility to fix. Sometimes, no matter how nice you are, it will never be enough for certain people. But that does not mean you are not enough. It simply means you are giving your value to the wrong place.